don't wish for him to die. I wish for him to have a long, suffering, cruel death.
You're a loser, you're a coward, you're a nobody, you're an animal.
What God says to do, and that's to forgive. So you are forgiven, sir.
I killed so many women. I picked prostitutes as my victims because I thought I could kill as many of them as I wanted without getting caught. Is that true?
Yes.
A strange serial killer who confesses every case. Today we remember the black oddities of Gary Redway. Every victim is a woman. He killed 71 women. But before going into details, we invite you, our dear viewers, to press the like button and the subscribe button and activate the bell feature to be the first to receive everything new, strange, and realistic. Let's continue. It's the year 1982. At that time there was a meatpacking plant along the river bank, Green River. One of the employees had gone out behind the factory to smoke a cigarette, looked at the river, and saw a corpse. Detective David Richards was summoned to the riverbank because two other bodies were found in about the same place. Marcia J. Chapman. On her back, she had rocks attached to her thighs and upper shoulder, but one of her arms was free. It was as if she was waving. It was as if she was saying, "Help me," but of course it was over for her. While Detective David was handling the scene, he found another body. It was lying at the bottom of the riverbank. It was identified as Opal Malls. A 16-year-old girl was lying on her stomach with a large bruise on her buttocks and a ligament around her neck. She was sleeping on her face. In that place, there were a very large number of prostitutes, more than 100 women engaged in that trade. All of them were the perfect victims for anyone. Their job is to stand on the street corner and wait for someone to drive to them. A $20 deal is made for the woman to jump into the car, and the person drives away and disappears in the dark of the night, and the woman will never be seen again. Police were finding bodies everywhere at the time. They have not made progress on these issues, only constantly gathering the dead. It was an unforgettable case, and none of the investigators working on that case forgot the details of the gruesome they saw in front of them, and within 2 years up to 10 bodies were found in the same river, Green River. The police had hundreds of pieces of evidence, but no suspect. The situation remained the same until the year 1986. His first order was to conduct DNA tests on the evidence of the Green River case. The police had DNA fluids that they took from the river victims and from other victims who were in the same situation. The first girl to get her file from the database and have a DNA test done was Marcia Chapman. She was one of the victims found in the Green River. Tests were followed by almost all the victims. After all the tests are over, Commander David Richards was immediately called by him in charge of conducting those tests and told him that he had obtained a match. The test taker told him that the name of the Green River killer was in this file, but Detective Richard told him he didn't need to look at the file, as he knew it was Gary Redway. He was right. The Washington County lab used DNA testing to link Gary Redway to 3 Green River victims. So Commander Richard ordered suspect Gary Redway to be monitored. They were surprised to see him watching a prostitute on the highway. They knew they had to move fast. They waited until Redway picked up that woman in his car. They went and arrested him for killing several victims afterward. The defense lawyer reached the prosecution, and they intended to make a deal, saying Redway would confess to the 65 crimes he committed in exchange for his life. Redway then gave them precise details of his 48 murders. He even agreed to lead the police to the place where the bodies of the victims, or at least some of them, were placed. Redway then confessed to not just 65 murders, but 71. He confessed them all in cold blood. The interrogators were frightened and disgusted. He was one of the fiercest killers in the world. In the courtroom, the judge decided with an opening statement. You chose to kill many women and chose prostitutes as your victims and managed to kill a number of them as your victims. Do you acknowledge this? Yes. The families of the victims stood there and addressed the killer.
I don't wish for him to die. I wish for him to have a long, suffering, cruel death.
You are a loser, you're a coward, you are nobody, you're an animal.
What God says to do, and that's to forgive. So you are forgiven, sir.
I killed so many women. I picked prostitutes as my victims because I thought I could kill as many of them as I wanted without getting caught. Is that true?
Yes.
Gary Redway was finally sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In the end, dear viewers of Black Oddities, we wish you an enjoyable viewing and invite you to subscribe to the channel and like the video to encourage us to provide everything new, interesting, and realistic. See you in the next video.